Hey guys, what is going on? Sharp Thinking here. I wanted to do a quick video on this guy. This is the Hinderer XM-18 3-inch, and it is a vintage version. So these are pretty cool. I have owned a vintage before. This is actually not my knife. This was sent to me, or given to me to review and look at by a good friend of mine, Nate. So Nate, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And if it were not for you, this video would not be possible. So I was actually opposed to the 3-inch Hinderer up until getting to carry this one. And I think it is actually a really nice knife, really nice design. We already know that because it is the same design as the 3.5-inch. But I think that this has a lot of good things going for it. It carries so incredibly well. It is so fun to play with, which normally I don't care about that. But this thing is fast and it feels really good. But yeah, we'll get into it. So Hinderer Knives is from Shreve, Ohio. I am located in Ohio, not in Shreve, but I like to support Ohio business and American business, and this is just that. Made in the USA by Hinderer in their shop in Shreve. And these are really cool knives. Probably not the most functional if you're doing EDC outdoor stuff, more of a collector item, but this is obviously carried and you can see it's been used. But I think the 3-inch version is going to be really good for most guys EDC. One of the reasons why, or two of the reasons why, this might not be such a good idea. For someone like me, I'm very active. I would ruin this scale with sweat and stuff like that. And not to mention the O1 steel. This blade would be rusted out very quickly. And that is why I tend to keep something like this in my car for after work when I actually do begin my run, go lift after that, and do all that stuff. Because if I had something along the lines of, you know, a tool steel like this or my Vancron Benchmade Anthem, these guys would not last. Especially with the wood. The G10 you really can't mess up, but definitely that M4 and tool steels along those lines. You can do a number on them, but if you use it a lot, and I mean a lot, that rust is not going to build up in any kind of meaningful way. It will more than likely just sort of patina and then stop unless you're really booking it running in the summer. Then you can mess up the blade pretty bad. But it's not super obvious here, but originally the hardware was bronzed, kind of to match the back scale here, which is a darker bronze, almost like a acid wash titanium with a light greenish bronze, kind of like a brass, like very old brass look to it, which I like a lot. I think the theme of the knife is really amazing. Hinderer makes a great knife. This is the tri-way version. My preferred version is going to be along the lines of what Blade Ramble, who's a good friend, I've known him for a long time, posted up on his channel, and that is a sterile blade. I think Gen 3 3-inch, where it does not have a lock bar insert of any kind, and it is just on Teflon washers. I've talked about Teflon washers so many times. This knife has never been taken apart, never been cleaned. I've done cement. I've done light drywall stuff. By the way, fuck drywall. I do HVAC for work, and I've pried with this. I've done all kinds of stuff. You can see the edge is totally flat because I was cutting on a steel plenum, trying to get some straps cut. And yeah, it's not drop shut like a bearing system would be. You can hear the lock is gritty, but it's smooth. It works. To me, I'd rather have something working than not. Now in this exact configuration, I think the bearings are kind of more justifiable because most people, not Nate, of course, but most people are going to put these in a box, put them on a shelf, something along those lines, and not use them. Now, that is exactly what I did with my vintage Bowie, because at the time I had 5 Hinderers, maybe 6. So I had 4 to 5 regular edition 3.5-inch XM-18s, and then I had a vintage Bowie. So it literally made no sense for me to use it. Although I wish I kept it. The reason I sold it is because I was never going to use it. It was just too beautiful of a blade. The Bowie, the finish, everything on it. It's just, I didn't even want to carry it. I like to be able to mess my knives up pretty bad because it's, at the end of the day, just a tool. And that's one thing that kind of doesn't appeal to me, is the collecting aspect of things. That's why you see me buy and sell so many knives. I'm intrigued by them. I want them, but you know, many of my favorite knives I do end up selling, like the Kershaw Tilt, all of those really cool rare knives. It's just, I'm not going to use it. I feel like I have to preserve history in a way, or the history of, you know, it sounds weird, but it's true, like the Spyderco Citadel. I'm not going to carry that and use it because I value the history of it, and it's kind of like a childhood nostalgia almost that I get when I pick it up and I get to handle it. But these are very cool, very beautiful knives, and I don't really blame anybody for not wanting to carry stuff. This is kind of turning into a whole separate video here, but yeah, I just felt like I had to bring that up. It's awesome, obviously, to carry it because this thing looks badass now, but yeah, I think wood scale can break, it can warp, this can obviously have problems, so I think what I'm trying to say here is you may want to pick up a 20 CV, an S45, a Magna Cut with a G10 scale if you're looking for an everyday carry. And these are quite expensive. I think these were $465 if I'm not mistaken. Could have been $85. I'm really not remembering right now, but they are cool. I've had so many Hinderers, so many, I can't even express it to you guys, and they're all pretty good designs, kind of thick behind the edge for what they are. I think a lot of the jimping doesn't really need to exist. Jimping here, I don't really know why we need that. We're kind of just holding the knife in our hand, right? And I've always felt that way. Like the swell at the end of a handle, like on this, it's just, a lot of times I think it does more harm than good. And I do understand what it's for, but I just don't find that to be necessary. But yeah, blade shape, I love the blade shape on these XM-18s. I think it's amazing. I've had a couple different blade shapes. I had a Spanto, whatever the fuck. I had a Slicer, Warncliffe Fatty, I think it was. A lot of good shapes. I prefer the drop point, which is this, and I think it's got the most consistent behind the edge. I think the tip drop on it is nice for EDC. I like the knife a lot. But at this point, I'm starting to ramble, and I'm going to end the video there. So shout out to Nate. Thank you so much for letting me check this guy out. That was super fucking cool, and thank you for all the other knives that are going to be making it to video here soon. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye now.